A fundamental question that we face in anthropology museums is what gives us the right to speak for cultures that are not our own. And this question becomes much more problematic if we want to talk about violence. War and peacemaking is the final theme in the collection People's Stories project. And whilst we're looking at relevant parts of the collection, we also want to explore this difficult topic much more widely. We have programmed a series of special events where we want to share different understandings of weaponry with the public.
Tonight we're going to perform a Maori welcoming ceremony. It's called a porphyry, and the taiaha are used by the warrior to see if the visitors are friend or foe. They're made of various types of wood. Some are also made as bone as well, primarily as a display weapon really. They get passed down from generation to generation. When you hold it, you shake your hand so the feathers will be shaking and that will distract your opposer. Some Maori people do get upset that the taiaha are not back in New Zealand, but I think it's actually good that they are here in some ways because they're a good representation of what was used in the old days for fighting.
A major element of this project is a conference that we've organised to gather the thoughts of scholars from the UK and abroad.
The subject is difficult because weapons does not signify the same thing in every culture. Weapons must be considered in the context and never seen just as a tool for violence.
The Kachin swords, also in the Horniman collection, they are quite symbolic because they are used when baby is born or in the wedding ceremonies, and also used when a person is passed away. I have one. I use it when we dance, just to participate in a cultural event. For me, or many Kachins, they will not categorize this as a weapons because they are purely symbolic. They would show a person's status or as a particular meanings for friendship or relationship. There's a decoration like a tiger's teeth. They are showing the social status.
In our collections, we also have objects that are inseparable from violence, such as the trophy heads. These come from cultures that gave great value to what we would regard as specific acts of brutality.
I'm from Nagaland. I was brought up in the Konyak area. My forefathers, they were quite well known in the region for headhunting practice, apart from the gruesome side of it. They had a very huge cultural and traditional significance in a society. The rituals and the things that surrounded those heads was very important for the community to stay as one. They also acted as a vehicle of passing down traditional things to the next generation. The installation that I'm showing for this conference is from a series called Living Impression, and the title of the piece is Powang, and he's the chief of a village. He's the last chief with a ceremonial facial tattoo. Unfortunately, now the younger generations, they don't practice that art anymore. He's like one of a kind from a dying species. You could take this as a contemporary version of headhunting. The machetes and actual human skulls are replaced by video cameras and plaster cast. What I'm trying with this work is to continue on that tradition and preserve whatever is around now for future generations.
As I've been researching headhunting, violence has really come into my research and why people are violent and how warriors are marked out. And these are the themes we've really been looking at.
I'm really interested in how the very first weapons that we see in the archaeological records can relate both to hunting activities but also to maybe the earliest signs of interpersonal violence between human groups.
I think when working in a post-war situation where the war was quite recent, that the weapons hold a much more powerful significance. Trying to approach how they're dealt with in a museum situation can be really difficult.
What we're trying to do with these objects is to talk about them in a way that recognises the violence, but also doesn't eclipse our audience's overall understanding of that culture.
To my side, I have the two shrunken heads in the Horniman Museum's collection. Now I'm actually going to call them Sansa, because that's what they're called by the Shuar people who made them. Only one of them, however, is the real thing. That's the one with the pegs pushed up through its lips, and they were put there to stop the spirit of the killed person going after the killer. The other one has got cropped blonde hair, so we can tell he's a European. He may have been taken from a morgue, he may have been dug up from a grave, he may have even been killed for his head, and that head was made specifically for sale. if we look across museum collections, we see that many Sansa were made for sale, and that market was generated by a ghoulish fascination with Sansa in the West. Today, that same ghoulish fascination makes it very hard for us to display Sansa, particularly to display them in a way which does justice to what they can tell us about how Shuar people once understood the world.
Displaying the item may be easy enough as putting it in a case. What we really need to figure out is working with the community and working with experts as to the significance of the item, what it means, and the cultural implications of putting it up.
I think we can learn a lot about weapons from people, but we can learn a lot about people from weapons, and there's an interesting dialogue that we have here.